What do we say to that force that tempts us to keep sitting on our butt? Not today. It's time to activate the energy center that helps us to discover the power of choice and fuels our creativity. And that would be the hip region, home of our sacral chakra. So let's get moving. We're going to get into a half kneeling position, and then we're going to side straddle our opposite leg. And then what I want you to try here is press that foot from the straight leg into the earth, and you're going to squeeze the quad on that same leg to open up the back of that knee. And just notice how that activates your inner thighs. And then we're going to bend down at the waist and sweep towards that straight leg. So you're flexing forward and then you are sweeping around. And when you come on up, you're going to squeeze that glute on the supporting leg. Notice how that feels, so that you're not just going through the motions here. And just feel how that starts to open up that hip region. Let's switch it up, other side. All right, again, we don't want to just go through the motions here. We're going to get into that half kneeling position and then side straddle the other leg. Press that foot into the earth to activate those inner thighs. And as you come up, you are going to squeeze the booty on the opposite side. And you might be thinking, hey, I thought we were going to be working hips on this video. Well, here's the thing. Strong hips are not just about strengthening those hip flexors. Your booty and your inner and outer thighs are all part of the family too. Every muscle in this pelvic girdle region has a job. They support one another. So we want to give all of those muscles a chance to do their job. This is going to help with less aches and more energy. And of course, remember to breathe. Find your breath in whatever way feels good for you. Let's change it up. Let's get ourselves moving through a thoracic bridge. We're going to place both our feet flat on the ground, place both your hands flat on the ground, get into that reverse tabletop position, and we're going to squeeze the glutes up towards the skies to open up the hips, and twisting one arm and alternating the other, just twisting it across your body and reaching towards that opposite wall. So think of headlights on your hips, headlights on your knees. You're going to do your best to point them up and forward while your upper body is twisting towards those side walls. Create as much space as you can by pushing that arm away from the earth. You want to push those shoulders away from the earth, and also keep the shoulders down away from your ears, and just feel how awesome and strong you feel there. Little by little, you'll be able to get up higher and higher with those hips. So meet yourself where you are at. You're doing great. All right, we're going to get into a 3-way pigeon push-up. I don't know what else to call that, but that you're in a pigeon position, and we're going to alternate from side to side and then moving through the center as well, pushing yourself up. And as you're doing this push-up, it's not just passive on the lower body. We want you to squeeze the glutes. It's going to open up your hips and press that thigh, press the front of that leg, the entire front of the leg, all the way down to the foot, into the earth, like you're trying to sweep it through the earth. And when you come up, squeeze that glute. And notice how when you move from side to side and through that middle, how that changes the stretch and the feeling sensation through that hip. If you want to make this a little easier for yourself, you can put a little pillow under your butt. But just meet yourself where you're at. Do whatever feels good. You don't have to come down all the way either. So just take your time and move through it gently. All right, we're going to switch it up. Other side. And again, we're going to straighten out that back leg, press the foot, the shin, the quad, all the way into the floor, like you're trying to sweep it through the earth. And as you come up, you're going to squeeze all of those muscles as well as the glute to open up that hip. If you want to add a little more intensity to this, the front leg, you can move that shin bone away from your hips so that it becomes more parallel with the front of your mat. I am definitely not there yet, but I'm working towards it just like you. So taking your time, meeting your body where she is, and just feeling into the sensation more than anything. So we're working on that creative sacral chakra area, moving all that stagnant energy. So just curious, is there any creative endeavor that you've kind of put on the back burner? Might be time to wake it up. All right, we're going to get into our next move here. We're going to get into a camel pose, well, a modification of a camel. We're going to get into that thoracic spine again, just a little bit more. And we're going to reach up and over on a diagonal. So tucking the toes under. You can put something under your knees if you need to. And remember to squeeze your glutes to open up those hips. And as you come around and across, you're reaching down with that opposite hand towards the heel. And just twisting out that thoracic spine a little bit as we are squeezing those glutes to open up the hips. You start to move through the body in different ways. It starts to unlock muscles that have just been on vacation. They've just been taking a nap. So we want to open up and create movements that might be a little bit opposite of what you're doing all day. That, again, might be just sitting on the booty. All right, we're going to change it up again. We're going to get into that half kneeling side straddle position again. And we're going to change it up by, you're still going to bend back and squeeze the glutes when you come up to open up that hip. But let's focus now on when we press that heel down into the earth from that straight leg, we're going to internally and externally rotate that femur, so that thigh bone within that hip socket. So feel what it feels like as you're pressing that foot down. And you're going to feel those rotators of the leg, and you're going to feel those adductors light up, creating a little bit more spaciousness through that hip region in ways that might be a little different than what you're used to. It feels good when you go to stand up and move around. Oh, that space is going to feel so good. All right, we're switching it up again. So we're going to press that heel into the earth from that straight leg and internally and externally rotate those toes like a little windshield wiper. So the movement's actually coming from the hip, not the foot. The foot is the end result of that movement that's coming from your femur in that hip socket. And when you come up, you're going to squeeze the glutes to open up those hip flexors. So it's those physical postures that we are consciously and unconsciously practicing every day, day in and day out, and they will inevitably turn into our default mental and emotional state as well. So we can either practice making choices that keep us stagnant and stuck, doing the same thing day in, day out, and that starts to suck the life out of our aliveness, or we can get up off our freaking booties and train our inner awesome to shine a little brighter, because, that just feels better. We are entering our last movement here, and we're going to get into a crab reach. So again, that reverse tabletop position, and this time, instead of reaching across the body towards the opposite wall, we're going to reach up and over towards our opposite fingers, similar to what we did in that modified camel position. Opening up the hips by squeezing the glutes and twisting through that thoracic spine so that we create a little more spaciousness between what's going on in the hips and the spine, and that's going to directly impact what's happening in our shoulder. It's going to directly impact what's happening in our knees. So moving from the center of the body out towards our extremities to create a more solid foundation and a little more spaciousness and ease, because spaciousness and ease are awesome, and so are you. All right, you did amazing, you beautiful human. You did so great. Thanks for joining me on the mat, and we will catch you on the next reboot. See ya.